Thank you. There was a commitment by the government to gift the retiring M1 Abrams tanks to Ukraine. There's significant interest in the diaspora and Ukrainian representatives as to a date as when they will leave Australia. Is Defence able to update the committee on that?
Senator, as we have before, you'd just be aware we carefully manage the delivery time frame in order to preserve the security of the movement of particularly such important equipment such as an M1A1.
Mm-hmm. I'd be very happy if you told me they'd already gone.
Pardon, Senator?
I would be very happy if you told me they had already gone because of the appropriate classification and secrecy, but I fear that's not the case.
Senator, Rear Admiral Jonathan Early, Head of Military Strategic Commitments. The first tranche of M1A1 tanks deliveries planned for Q3 this year.
Okay. And the second question related to that is there was some discussion around harvesting parts from the existing tanks that could be used with the new Abrams tanks. Is that progressing, or are we delivering these vehicles fit for use when they arrive?
I might defer that question to Army.
Senator, Major General Jason Blaine, Head of Land Systems. The tanks that are being gifted are being uplifted to a mission-capable setting. So they're going through work in our deep maintenance area to ensure that the ones we are gifting, of the 49 tanks that we are providing, the majority of those are at the mission-capable standard.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And that's all out of Army's hide? You've got no additional funding for that?
At this stage, no additional funding for that.
Okay, thank you. And final question on Ukraine, the ARH Tiger helicopters. I see in the PAES that the rate of flying has reduced. Again, question on that, are those airframes being preserved in an airworthy status, or are they being used for parts to keep the remainder of the fleet operating?
Senator General Stewart, Chief of Army, the answer to your question is that there is some requirement to harvest some of the key parts to maintain the rate of effort and to ensure, we meet our readiness requirements, and two, that we're able to maintain competency and currency to set conditions for the transition to Apache. But we're doing the best we can with what we have in order to maintain that fleet in a serviceable and available condition.
Sure, I accept that. Now the government has responded to the report of this committee, which the government has agreed that the default option for retiring military equipment will be to engage with the Ukrainians to see if it's desired. Has Defence discussed with the government of Ukraine or with other European governments who are the OEMs for the Tiger, whether or not they are interested and whether they are prepared to work on a plan to make sure that when we are finished with the capability, there is an exit strategy for it in a usable form?
I'm certainly aware of that policy. I know that we are working to ensure we comply with it, but I think others might be best placed to answer your question directly. I don't know, Senator.
Senator, Major General Jeremy King, Head Joint Aviation Systems Division. CASG manages the Tiger on behalf of Army. Those aircraft are currently scheduled to be retired around or not before 2027, and we are managing the fleet in order to get to that point. As part of the disposal process, I believe at last estimates we identified that gifting to Ukraine remained an option, and we're in the process of engaging not only with Ukraine but the other three countries who operate that platform to ascertain their ability to support that if it was to become an option as part of disposal.
Sure. The one thing that has changed from last estimates to now is the government's response to the report, where they have said their policy going forward will be a default position to offer. So I guess I'm just interested to know that you are engaging. That's fine. Thanks, Chair. I'll pass to Senator Reynolds.
No, well, before you do that, the Deputy Chair has also just asserted his authority. But anyway, Deputy Chair.
Just on the Abrams, so it's 49 M1A1 Abrams we're gifting to Ukraine, is that right?
That's correct, Senator.
Okay. And the first tranche is going in the third quarter of this year, is that right?
Planned for delivery in Q3 this year.
How big is the first tranche?
There's operational sensitivities to that, Senator. We don't want to say how many.
How many tranches are we sending?
Well,
Senator.
First Assistant Secretary, International Policy. There are operational sensitivities around the delivery of equipment to Ukraine, and that is evolving over the course of the war. And so I think there is a genuine reluctance on the part of partners to go into too much detail.
Okay. Could you tell me when you'd expect the final tranche to be delivered, or over what time frame will the 49 M1A1s
2025.
All through calendar, they'll be all delivered by the end of calendar year 2025.
That's what we're working towards, planning towards. But again, the lesson of the last 3 years is that delivery of equipment from Australia to Ukraine is not uncomplicated.
Okay. When was this commitment first made, the decision on the announcement?
We can take it on notice. I mean, we'll try to get the answer for you, Senator. It was last year. Are we done?
Look, I've got a date. You can confirm this. I think I've got a media release here dated 7th
I've got an
October.
answer for you, Senator. Major General Jason Blaine, Head of Land Systems. On the 17th of October 2024, the government announced the gifting of the tanks.
Okay, so it'll be almost a year before the first tank arrives in Ukraine after the announcement. We're doing the first tranche in Q3.
Well, as Senator is...
That's just rhetorical.
All right. Just to add, it is a complex process, not just because of the operational security required, but of course these are high-end warfighting capabilities, and Senator Shoebridge has underlined there is a complex defence export control process. These tanks are not immune from that process. We need to engage with our partners to ensure that we can actually export this item consistent with our obligations, the obligations of our partners, and of course they're extremely heavy, bulky, they take time to deliver. This is the challenge of supplying high-end warfighting capability on the other side of the world.